A while ago, I made a video about why I sold my rig, why I sold my 2022 Ford F-250 Tremor with the flatbed and the Supertramp camper, and I will link to this video up here. If you have not seen it, I highly recommend you take a look. At the same time, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so as well. But in today's video, I'm going to talk about my new rig, my future rig. You see a truck behind me here, and that's the foundation of my new travel rig. Yeah, it has been an interesting, I want to say, story in a certain way of why I sold the previous rig and how I made the decision to buy the new rig and yeah, how it all came together. So that's the story for this video. I hope you stick around. Last year, when I started more and more traveling, I really came to realize that while the Tremor, the Ford Tremor and the Supertramp Camper were great for adventuring, they were just not the right combo for working. I still have a day-to-day job. I still need to earn a paycheck. And yeah, while I technically work from the camper, it has been cumbersome. It was not easy. It was complicated in many ways, and my productivity really took a hit. So after going through these trips, I really decided, okay, this is not going to work. I'm becoming frustrated with it. It's not as convenient as it should be. I need something else. And that's when I made the decision, okay, let's take a look at different rigs and see what is out there. And maybe there's something that will really help me to turn this around and continue with my travel, but also be able to be productive from the road. So I started looking at regular truck campers and eliminated those immediately. They're just not made for off-road travel. They may last 6-9 months, but then they would definitely fall apart. So not an option for me. I also looked at travel trailers, not the typical travel trailers, more the off-road travel trailers. But yeah, I don't want to pull a trailer. It just makes for such a long vehicle. It's not easy to navigate. If you have to back out somewhere in a sketchy situation, it's just not a good solution. Then I looked at more off-road campers, travel or truck campers to be specific. So, I mean, four-wheel campers is a brand that comes to mind. Same thing with OEV, Overland Explorer vehicles. And so I talked to Basil here at Basil's Garage. He is a reseller for OEV, and I told him, it's like, I'm thinking of selling. What do you think can OEV do for me? And so we talked about a few options, looked at the Hudson Bay camper. Basil mentioned that they're coming out with a hard-walled or hard-sided truck camper for the Hudson Bay. It fits on a flatbed, so you have a little bit more space. It has a side entrance, which allows me to set up a rear dinette. And the more I looked at the rear dinette, it would be the best option for me to set up a work space where I can simply just move the table or the monitor and the laptop out of the way and use the table regularly or use the couch in couch mode, but it's not always a steady or constant setting up my desk, taking it down, and so on. Plus, you're not sitting in the hallway like in the Supertramp camper, and especially when the weather is not as nice or when it's cold and windy outside. Very difficult to navigate inside the Supertramp camper. So that was a good first step in regards to, okay, I need a rear dinette. I started going deeper on the OEV, and it was difficult. They didn't have any pictures, just a sketching of the hard-sided camper, how it looked like. The layout inside would be the same as with the soft top, but I wasn't so keen to have a soft top. In comparison to the Supertramp camper, the OEV soft tops, they might be well insulated, but they just don't look as nice. That was something, okay, looks is one thing, functionality is another. With a soft top in general, campers don't have overhead storage. And I know OEV is offering something now today. It wasn't available in December and January when I started looking at this. So overhead storage is an important part from what I learned with the Supertramp camper. When you sit on the couch or the bench where most of your items are stored in, it's complicated, and I didn't want to deal with that. And while the OEV Hudson Bay has a little bit more storage, it's not perfect. So four-wheel campers, it's the same thing. Four-wheel campers came out with some innovations this year, and it still feels like they're years behind the newer, the more modern truck campers. They're functional, they are solid. I mean, it's the company is around for decades, so for a reason. So it's a good product, but just for me again, it wasn't the right setup. I was looking at the flatbed Hawk, putting that on a truck. Yeah, it's a great option. You see Mac and Owen from Bound for Nowhere. They make it work. They have the rear dinette. And overall, it's a good travel vehicle, but it wasn't necessarily what I had in mind. So I think a hard-walled camper really was my best option. So I started going deeper. I looked at Scout, I looked at Kimbo, and both I eliminated fairly quickly for different reasons. They're solid campers, they're good for off-roading, but the internal layout and functionality was just not where I wanted it to be. In November, or was it the end of October, the Epic Family Road Trip, they picked up their new camper, and it was a Ross Monster Baja. And I had looked at the Ross Monster Baja before and really liked the idea of a hard-sided camper, but a pop-up that still gives you the lower vehicle height and the lower center of gravity. And I always figured the Ross Monsters would be too expensive, but as I was going through the build process with or putting together a build for OEV, it's like, okay, let's check them out and see what they have to offer. And I was actually surprised. Yes, not cheap. I mean, we're talking a hefty six-figure price tag here, but overall, not too far off from the OEV campers. So those became the camper options for me. On the OEV side, I was looking at the flatbed Hudson Bay, potentially with a flatbed with a forward-facing garage, a storage garage. I also looked at the High Country. The High Country I really like from the overall size. It's a big truck camper, but it's solid. It offers a bathroom inside, which is something I am looking forward to have. Not necessarily to have a bathroom, but just from certain scenarios like wet shoes, wet gear, that I can just put that into a wet bath and let it dry out. The problem with the High Country is that you need an F550 or Ram 5500, and those are hard to get by. Even used, the prices are very, very high. It's not worth it buying it used if you want a 1, 2, maybe 3-year-old F550 compared to the price that you pay for a new one. But new ones are difficult to get by. If you find one, it's often just really the base model with nothing in it. And I want a couple of creature comforts in the cab to feel comfortable on my travel, because I will travel a long time. I don't want to mess with replacing seats or aftermarket radio and whatever else. Plus, with the High Country and the big truck, these trucks only come as dually from the factory. And yeah, I want to go off-road. They need to be converted to single rear tires, so-called super singles. And talking to Basil, a price tag of 25K is easily in the making there. Plus, the truck is more expensive, and then they're only available as diesels unless you custom order it. And with diesel, as I want to go down to Middle and South America, it's just not a good option for me. So the High Country I eliminated. So it came down to the Ross Monster Baja and the Hudson Bay from OEV on the flatbed. I started working with Ross Monster, reached out to them and had some good calls. They put a quote together for me. And then I started customizing the OEV camper with Basil's help, which was really good to have close by, because he could answer questions. Plus, from my previous build, I knew what certain things would cost. And so when I went through the process, Basil reached out to OEV and asked, okay, how much can we customize in regards to the electrical components? Because the basic stuff would not be sufficient for me. And unfortunately, OEV was not offering any customization there. So this would have been an aftermarket setup at Basil's garage. And I trust Basil with that. That's not the problem. That's all doable, but it drives up the cost. And some components you have to throw out and replace them with better ones. And so there would be some money wasted. Since I'm not rich, That was something I put into consideration about, say, okay, how far can I take this? So when I put all the numbers together, the Ross Monster Baja and the OEV Hudson Bay were very close together, surprisingly close together. If it's like if I would have known this in advance when I built the Supertramp and built out my truck, I would have never done it because I am actually, or the build cost of 241,000 for the F250 Tremor with the Supertramp and the flatbed is not that far off from what I will be paying for a Ross Monster Baja on my new F350 that is standing behind me. So, and with that being said, the OEV camper, once you start adding certain add-ons from the options list to the camper, becomes expensive really quickly. Plus the additional upgrades I would have to make to bring it up to the specs that I needed, that I want, that I recognized I need from experience with the Supertramp camper. I was like at 7,000 to 8,000 difference between the Ross Monster Baja and the OEV camper, plus the truck, the base vehicle that I would have to purchase. So when I was at that point, it's like, okay, let's look at the differences really close. What does one have over the other? So the OEV camper would be fully hard-sided, because I would have gone with the fully hard-sided one. So overhead storage, proven layout, proven technology, proven quality. What it did not have is a pass-through into the cab, which the Ross Monster has. It doesn't have a wet bath. And so looking at the Ross Monster, it's like, okay, I get, in addition to a wet bath and the pass-through, I get the pop-up roof. It's sitting on actuator, so you push a button pretty much to move the roof up and down. But the advantage is it's like lower height of the vehicle and lower center of gravity, and in the end probably lower gas mileage, or better gas mileage, not lower gas mileage, better gas mileage as well. So definitely an important factor for me comparing these two. The Ross Monster, in addition to that, is completely custom. So it's not like you have a base model and then you just pick from a list of add-ons. Yes, you have a base models and there are some add-ons, but you can pretty much tell them what you want and they build it for you as long as it's technically doable. So, and that allowed me to really customize the Ross Monster Baja to a point where it's like, wow, this is a mind-blowing cool vehicle to have. And yeah, then I ran my finances and looked at the numbers and it's like, yeah, I will lose money on selling the previous rig. And yeah, there's a higher cost here, so I'm putting more money in, which sucks. But on the other side is also an important part. For one, I'm starting over. I now have a 2024 pickup truck behind me. And yeah, it's like it extends my travel. So the other pickup truck was a 2022, not old, but here I'm thinking I'm keeping this for 10, 15, maybe 20 years. 2 years can make a big difference. So starting over with a clean slate, plus all the learnings that I had from the Supertramp and the previous rig were all implemented from day one. So I had them all written down, gave this list to a Ross Monster, and they said, not a problem. This is what the quote looks like. I signed off on it, and yeah, I have a Ross Monster Baja on order. So if you look at the one from the Epic Family Road Trip, I use that kind of as a template. And so my new truck has the color white. I speak from experience again with off-roading. With the black one, you see everything. You see all the scratches on the black color. It's just bad when you go and travel that way. On the white one, it's much easier. You see scratches less and you see dust less. So it's easier on the eyes from that perspective. Plus, black attracts the heat and heats up the vehicle significantly. I travel with a dog. A white vehicle has a significant difference in the temperature that it creates, or with the sun heat it absorbs when parked outside. With the pass-through cab from the Ross Monster Baja as well, it allows my dog to easily go through from the cab to the camper and vice versa. So pretty much adding an additional room just for the dog. So she migrates during the day through the house. She goes outside, she comes back inside. Here now, she would have significantly more space. I will have a rear dinette, similar to what I mentioned that the four-wheel camper has and the OEV campers. So now I'm not sitting in the hallway anymore. I'm sitting in the rear. I can move that table into the corner when I set up my desk. So it's very easy. I came up with a somewhat custom design for the table so that I can simply slide it. It's not a swivel table because I put a monitor on the table. The monitor has weight, my laptop, a keyboard, some other stuff. So needing or having a solid table is an important part. And for me, as I now was working off this, I want to say blank slate, allowed me to watch so many videos and pick all the best pieces that other people had implemented. And so I found this table that is mounted to the rear wall, has a folding leg in the front. You can just simply lift it up slightly and slide it in either direction of the dinette. So that allows me to set up my desk, sit normally at the table and work. If I need a break or at the end of the day, I just lift the table in the front slightly up and gently push it into the corner. And then I have the entire other side of the dinette available as a couch to hang out, space to move. The dog even has room to lay down there, so very convenient. And there are a couple of other things. When I looked at the Baja and where Ross Monster was putting certain things, I asked about a certain space in a certain location. It's like, is that space being used? How much space is there? And so we were able to identify space where I can store my monitor while driving and the laptops while driving in a nice foam protected area. So again, making it very easy to access everything, but it's also out of the way, not visible. You will not know that there is storage when you get into the camper. And from that perspective, there's a lot of customization that went in there. With other stuff, I just went with what other Baja owners have done in the past, just based on experience. I mean, never break a winning team. So I'm really trying to put in what I learned, what I need, but also stick to what has proven to work and really is a reliable setup. So the truck itself, it's currently a standard F350 that is behind me. No lift, no nothing. Ross Monster will put a Kali pin-top suspension in there. The truck will get put onto 37-inch tires with 18-inch wheels. It will get a buckstop Outback off-road bumper. It will get a nice worn winch in the front. I already installed some extra lights on the truck, which will be something for a different video, but the truck will look really nice. On the outside storage, with the OEV camper, I mentioned that before, I probably would have ordered the flatbed with the storage compartment, so that would have meant I need an 8-foot bed on the truck, same thing as I have here. On the Ross Monster, the storage will not be in the front. There will be 2 storage boxes attached to the rear, giving me plenty of space for my outdoor gear and recovery gear and all that good stuff. In the end, it's like, yeah, it sucks that I have extra money that I need to spend to make this happen. But again, for me, this is like, I don't want to travel and be frustrated because it's so complicated to work reliably from the road. I like to be productive, but also at night it's like, okay, let's go and edit some YouTube video for you guys and upload it. So it was complicated in the Supertramp. Technically doable, absolutely, but not something where I could see myself being happy over the next 5-10 years or longer from that perspective. So I think it's the right decision. I sold the previous rig. I advertised it on Facebook and on Expedition Portal and a couple other websites. Chances had it that a guy here in Encinitas was looking at Expedition Portal at the right time. He bought the truck also by chance. I had just clear coated the truck. It looked fantastic when the gentleman arrived, and yeah, inspected or saw the truck and the camper for the very first time. So he fell in love with it, and I mean, he was trying to build something similar, and he later said it's like anything that he was thinking of that he needs to do, wants to do, I had already done. So it was a turnkey solution for him, and in the end it was an easy decision for him to, it's like, you know what, I'm going to sell what I had already, like his truck and his OEV camper, and he bought mine, and there she goes. Bye-bye, truck. Bye-bye. We texted a few times since then, and I even heard from other people that they saw my previous rig in certain locations here in the Western United States, which is very cool. I'm glad he is putting it to use. I mean, I built that vehicle for me with a high quality aspect of everything, and I'm so glad it found a new owner that appreciates the effort that went in. Am I sad that I sold the rig? Yes. Am I super excited to get a Ross Monster Baja? You bet. I can hardly wait. In August, I will drive this truck behind me to Longmont, Colorado. We'll drop it off at Ross Monster. Hopefully get a tour of their facilities. Hopefully I can film it too. And then I will come back to Longmont at the end of September and yeah, pick up my new Expedition rig. And yeah, then I will take it for a couple of shakedown trips, test everything out, hopefully don't have to change anything, put my gear in, and then go for some trips. The way how I'm planning this is that start with 1, 2, 3 week long trips here and there. Experiment, try different climates. It's winter, so some parts here south are nice. I'm potentially going to Baja. The name is perfect for the truck camper to take it to Baja too. I will probably take it north and just see how everything works out. Right now, and unfortunately that's why you had to wait so long for new videos, I have to move. My landlord gave me notice that he's not renewing the lease. It's a crappy rental market out there, and I don't want to buy something right now because I don't see myself retiring here in Southern California. So it's like, all right, I'm renting a new house. It's a little more expensive, but the last 1.5 months were pretty stressful from trying to find something because there's not much out there. And from that side, it's like a lot of time and effort went into that. Plus now I'm packing boxes and getting ready for the move on Saturday. Well, this is it for this video. I hope you liked it. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about my choice. I get it. I'm fortunate that I can afford this type of vehicle. So from that perspective, please don't slam me. This is, I know not everyone can do that, but let me know in the comments. Would like to hear from you. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so as well. It will really help me. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers. I really appreciate it. So thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye-bye.